welcome back to Crafty Meraki's YouTube channel. Aditi here today with a lot of die cutting. I'm going to be playing with the Bouquet Builder die set, and I have pieces of colored cardstock right here. So 2 shades of green for the foliage. I'm only using one flower, cutting that from 2 shades of yellow. For the bouquet itself, I have 2 shades of blue. So once I have die cut the layers, I am going to start assembling them and adding a little ink blended detail on a few layers just to distinguish them. So for the bouquet itself, I think 3 shades of colors make it for a perfect dimensional looking bouquet. So the first layer down here, I'm going to adhere it as is. And if you notice, I've taken a lighter color, I've skipped a mid-tone and then taken the darkest color for the background. The mid-tone is what I'm going to bring about using ink blending on the lighter tone. So die cutting in this way just becomes easy and effortless. So that third piece right there which goes on top, I need the mid-tone that I was talking about. So I'm just pulling out a blue ink and I'm going to ink blend over this, and you can see this in itself adds so much detail, helping us create that mid-tone and creating those distinguished layers for this bouquet, adding to that dimensional look. So I am going to ink blend on 2 other layers that are going to align right over the darkest layer to create the folds and the creases, and just the way the bouquet, the paper and the fabric that's used flows through, I think is incredible with all of these die cut layers, just bringing this entire bouquet cluster to life. I'm leaving the inner folds light, and you will see me, I'm just using my Blink Buddy on the wax tip to pick out tiny die pieces, apply glue and then just stick them in place. Just makes it very easy. Of course, for the bigger pieces, I do switch to using my tweezers because I find that easier with the bigger pieces. So just following the layering guide and adhering all of these pieces, I am first assembling the bouquet. I have a silicone tip paintbrush that I like to use to get rid of any excess glue after I've adhered the pieces, so that really helps clean off the mess. And after that, just putting all the pieces down in place, I am all set with my bouquet. Now for the flowers, I am going to start laying out the base pieces, and I'm mixing it up because I've cut few with the darker yellow and few with the lighter yellow, and I'll alternate the topmost layer. Wherever I have a lighter base, I'll add the second shade of yellow on top and vice versa, just to create a little interest and dimension on the flowers. And then of course the flower center, again I'm going to alternate, so bringing back the base color on the top. So that way, with just one single color, we have a monochromatic looking flower, yet with the color, texture and dimension using 2 shades of cardstock. I find this technique very easy and handy, especially with layered dies when I'm short on time. I just like to die cut everything and assemble that with colored cardstock. Now here for my background, I've used the Speckled Canopy Die, and I cut this on a light pink, just for a lighter pink background, which also adds some interest and contrast to the blue, yellow and green that we already have going on the bouquet. And since the bouquet is large and quite huge, and you will see in a minute after I put everything together, it's going to be a fuller looking bouquet. For that reason, I thought the background doesn't need to be too much, and this die just works well. Now I am just going to start laying out the foliage pieces, insert them. Ideally, you could have them coming out from the bottom slit, showing a little bit of the stem at the bottom, but I'm not doing that. So I am going to first just place all my foliage into the bouquet. I'm saving a few pieces to add later on, but you can see I've just created this fuller looking bouquet with all the foliage pieces. And once I'm happy, I use a piece of double-sided tape to adhere and hold everything in place at the back, and trim off some excess of the stem just because I don't really need any of it peeking through. Then using more foam tape, I'm going to adhere this to my card, and then I will start adhering the ribbon that I've die cut with white cardstock added yellow ink blending. and start adhering the flowers. So I want the flowers to peek through, some at the back, some at the front, just like an original bouquet. When you look at it, you see foliage and flowers and things peeking through. So with that idea in mind, I start adhering the flowers, and I also layer a few right at the back, although they are not inside the bouquet, but they create this illusion like they are because they are resting at the back. So once I have all of that in place, now I'm just going to complete that with white and black acrylic ink splatter. I think all of this just ties everything together and creates a little texture, the water mist look on a bouquet, which I think really works well. I'm adding black simply because my sentiment is in black lettering, and I'm just using one of the EAP sheet sentiments that I had die cut, and I always store these so it's easy to pick out some sentiment and add that to the card. I am definitely using foam tape right here too, just to match the dimension of my bouquet, and I'm going to add sending smiles, and with that this card is complete. So filled with die cutting, elegance and details. Here is a look at the card and close up details. I really hope you've enjoyed this, and do give your Bouquet Builder die a try. Until the next time, take care and bye bye.